Imagine standing at the edge of a bridge thinner than a strand of hair, and sharper than a sword. Beneath it is a fire so intense that its flames roar like thunder. Behind you stands all of humanity waiting for their turn. And in that moment, you realize something terrifying. Everyone must cross it. There is no other path forward. This bridge is called as Sirat, and one day, you will stand on it. Introduction. According to Islamic teachings, after the Day of Judgment, every human being will face the same final path. The Quran and authentic Hadith describe a bridge stretched across the Hellfire known as Sirat. This bridge leads to paradise, but it stands above the blazing depths of hell. No one will avoid it. Every person who has ever lived will walk toward that bridge, step onto it, and begin the crossing. The Prophet Muhammad described the Sirat as something beyond imagination. It will be extremely narrow and incredibly sharp. Hooks and thorns will rise from the fire beneath, waiting to grab those whose deeds weigh them down. On that day, people will not cross in the same way. Some will pass in the blink of an eye, while others will struggle with every step. The difference will not be wealth, power, or status. The only thing that will determine your speed on that bridge is your deeds. And the frightening truth is that right now, every action you perform is shaping how you will cross the Sirat. Crossing like lightning. For some believers, the crossing will be unbelievably fast. The Prophet said that certain people will pass over the Sirat like lightning flashing across the sky. Imagine standing on that terrifying bridge, hearing the roar of hell beneath you, and then suddenly you are gone, moving faster than a blink. One moment you are stepping onto the bridge, and the next moment you are safely on the other side. These are the people whose hearts were filled with sincere faith. They prayed regularly, remembered Allah often, and stayed mindful of their actions even when no one was watching. Their good deeds were consistent and pure, done for the sake of Allah alone. On the Day of Judgment, that sincerity becomes light. And that light carries them across the bridge faster than lightning. The reminder here is simple but powerful. Faith is not built in one moment. It is built through small actions repeated every day. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment you choose what is right instead of what is easy. These actions may one day become the speed that carries you safely across the Sirat. Crossing like the wind. Other believers will cross the bridge like powerful wind racing through the sky. Not as instant as lightning, but still incredibly fast. They will move quickly across the Sirat while the flames of hell roar beneath them. Their hearts will still feel fear, but their feet will move with strength. These are the people who struggled in life but kept returning to Allah. They made mistakes like every human being, but they repented sincerely and tried to improve themselves. They gave charity when they could. They helped others. They tried to control their anger and protect their tongues. Their lives were not perfect, but their direction was always toward Allah. Because of that effort, they crossed the Sirat with speed and protection. For the viewer watching right now, this is a powerful reminder. You do not need to be perfect to earn Allah's mercy. What matters is that you keep trying, keep repenting, and keep moving toward righteousness. Crossing like running horses. Some people will cross the bridge at the speed of running horses. Their journey across the Sirat will be fast, but they will still feel the danger around them. The flames beneath will remind them how close they are to falling. Yet they will continue forward with determination. These are believers whose good deeds outweigh their sins, but whose lives were a mixture of strength and weakness. They prayed, but sometimes they delayed their prayers. They remembered Allah, but sometimes they forgot. They gave charity, but sometimes they held back. Despite their struggles, they remained believers. And on the Day of Judgment, their faith and good deeds will push them forward, step by step, until they reach safety. The lesson here is clear. Even if your faith feels weak at times, do not give up. Continue building good deeds. Continue strengthening your relationship with Allah. Every good action you do today may become a step that carries you across the Sirat tomorrow. Crossing while walking. For others, the crossing will be much slower. They will walk carefully across the bridge, feeling every step. The Sirat will feel impossibly narrow beneath their feet. Beneath them, the fire of hell will roar and crackle. their hearts will tremble with fear. These are people whose deeds are balanced between good and bad. They believed in Allah, but their lives were filled with distractions and negligence. They knew the truth, yet sometimes ignored it. They performed good deeds, but their sins weighed heavily on them. Because of this balance, their crossing will not be fast. They will move forward slowly, hoping that the mercy of Allah will carry them to the other side. For anyone listening, this moment should inspire reflection. Life is short, and every day is an opportunity to tip the scale of your deeds toward goodness. Crawling across the bridge. Then there will be people who must crawl across the Sirat. Imagine the fear of being forced onto your hands and knees while the bridge stretches above the blazing fire. Every movement forward feels painful and terrifying. Hooks rise from below, grabbing at their bodies, tearing at their clothes. These are believers whose sins were heavy and whose good deeds were few. They still had faith, but their lives were filled with negligence and wrongdoing. Because of that, their crossing becomes a painful struggle. Yet even in that terrifying moment, hope remains. As long as faith still exists in their hearts, they continue moving forward, crawling step by step toward safety. This reminds us of something powerful. No matter how many mistakes a person has made, turning back to Allah can change their future. Repentance today can transform the way you cross the Sirat tomorrow. Those who fall. But there will also be people who cannot cross the bridge. As they step onto the Sirat, their sins pull them downward. The hooks rise from the fire and seize them. Some will stumble and fall. Others will be dragged down into the flames. These are the people who rejected the truth, ignored warnings, and lived their lives without caring about the consequences of their actions. For them, the Sirat becomes the final moment where their choices catch up with them. It is a terrifying image, but it is also a powerful reminder that life is not meaningless. Every decision we make carries weight. Every action shapes the path that awaits us after death. Conclusion. One day, every human being will stand before the Sirat. Kings and workers, rich and poor, famous and unknown, all of them will face the same bridge. On that day, nothing from this world will matter except the deeds you carried with you. The question is not whether you will reach the Sirat. The question is how you will cross it. Will you cross like lightning, carried by faith and sincerity? Will you run across it with determination? Or will you struggle with every step, wishing you had lived differently? The choices you make today are quietly shaping that moment. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment you resist temptation, every time you remember Allah when no one else sees, these actions are building the path that will carry you across the Sirat. And when that day finally arrives, you will realize something powerful. The bridge was never just in the future. You were building it with every step of your life.